All right, let's jump right into this explainer, where we're going to take Teacher Pool's expert frameworks and transform them into your actionable blueprint for crafting an absolutely standout professional CV. Look, if you're an educator aiming for a new role, whether you want to be an IBDP coordinator, an IGCSE teacher, or you're eyeing a leadership track at a top-tier institution, you already know the landscape out there is incredibly competitive. So today, we're breaking down exactly how to construct a profile that doesn't just get you noticed, but actually gets you hired. We really need to establish the stakes here immediately. Think about it. Your resume is literally your first handshake with school management. In the highly competitive world of educational recruitment, a standard, poorly formatted document simply is not going to cut it. You could be the most inspiring, innovative teacher in your entire district, but if that first handshake is weak, well, you won't even get the chance to show them what you can do in a classroom. And here is exactly why that first handshake is so critical. 10 seconds. The harsh reality is that HR teams and school principals are often scanning your application for less than 10 seconds before they decide if you belong in the shortlisted pile or the bin. During a major hiring drive, these administrators are looking at literally hundreds of applications. They do not have the time to hunt for your qualifications. You have to serve it up to them instantly. This is why having a top-tier resume is absolutely crucial. It's quite literally your VIP ticket to interviews. It serves as the solid foundation for attracting the right opportunities, really showcasing your unique value, and ultimately advancing your career toward those coveted leadership tracks. It's all about making that 10-second first impression truly count. So here is our lesson plan for today. First, the 10-second scan, then beating the ATS gatekeeper, next up the anatomy of an educator CV, followed by standout teacher CV templates, and we'll finish things off with a 5-minute CV audit. Starting right off with Section 1, the 10-second scan, and making a great first impression. Now, what's really fascinating here is how much visual balance actually influences an administrator who is handling hundreds of applications. They aren't just reading your words, they're absorbing the entire visual organization of your document. A super clean layout instantly highlights your vital info, like your certifications, your subjects, and your specific board experience. On the flip side, and we all know how frustrating it is to grade a disorganized, messy student paper, right? Well, if your CV is a mess of inconsistent fonts or spelling mistakes, it subtly signals to a principal that your classroom materials, your lesson plans, and your pedagogy might be just as disorganized. You're basically failing the test before they even read your credentials. Okay, moving to Section 2, beating the ATS gatekeeper and passing the invisible filter. Now, this invisible filter is something a lot of educators completely overlook. The crucial point here is understanding who or what is actually reading your resume first. On one hand, you have the human principal review, which relies on that rapid 10-second visual scan we just talked about. But on the other hand, so many large educational institutions are now using an applicant tracking system, or an ATS. The ATS is essentially a software gatekeeper. If your resume lacks standard, expected keywords like curriculum mapping, pedagogy, or formative assessment, it might just get filtered out automatically. It might literally never be seen by human eyes, no matter how beautifully you formatted it. Which brings us nicely to Section 3, the anatomy of an educator CV, your core blueprint. So how do we beat both the human and the ATS bot? We balance structural simplicity with serious impact by following a strict visual hierarchy. These are the 5 non-negotiable sections of a top-tier CV. Step 1, your header and contact info. Keep it clean and definitely include your professional title. Step 2, a professional summary. This should be a tight 3-sentence hook detailing your teaching philosophy and your board expertise. Step 3, core competencies. This is where you pack in those crucial ATS keywords, your pedagogical strengths. Step 4, professional experience, listed in reverse chronological order and highly focused on measurable achievements. And finally, Step 5, education and certifications, ending with your critical teaching compliance credentials, like a BEd, a CTET, or Cambridge CICTL. Let's see what this looks like in the real world with Section 4, Standout Teacher CV Templates. Let's take a look at an experienced board specialist first, say an IB or IGCSE math teacher. Notice how their success is heavily anchored in pedagogical keywords, things like differentiated instruction and Moodle. But more importantly, look at the impact section. They don't just list their daily duties. They prove their quantifiable impact in the classroom. They cite improving academic outcomes by 20%, maintaining a 94% A-star to B grade rate, and achieving a 6 out of 7 average score for DP extended essays. Now that is the exact kind of hard data that makes a principal stop scanning and really pay attention. Conversely, let's look at a co-curricular and specialized subject teacher, like a music educator. Their impact looks a bit different, sure, but it is equally quantifiable. This template focuses on hands-on performance metrics and managing large cohorts. They instructed over 120 students weekly. They directed a massive 45-piece student orchestra. They hit a 100% pass rate with distinction for global practical exams. The takeaway here? Whatever your subject is, you absolutely must find a way to measure and showcase your specific impact. All right, before you hit submit, we have Section 5, the 5-minute CV audit, your final checklist. Think of this as your own personal grading rubric before you hand in your final paper. Grade your CV right now using this checklist. Formatting. Are you using uniform fonts like Arial or Calibri? Absolutely no overly stylized script fonts, please. File format. Is it saved as a PDF? Sending an editable format like a Word doc can completely distort your layout across different devices, so always use a PDF. Keywords. Have you included those board-specific terms? Quantifiable impact. Did you include real hard figures? And finally, spelling and typos. Double-check your board acronyms. Honestly, getting the acronym wrong for the very curriculum you claim to teach is a massive red flag. It's instant detention. When you get this right, a flawless, well-audited CV truly unlocks the door to better compensation, premium school networks, and those leadership tracks we talked about. And this is exactly where industry experts like Teacher Pool come in. They specialize in connecting talented educators with outstanding institutions. By partnering with them, you can make sure your expertly crafted profile goes straight to HR heads and top management, completely bypassing that ATS shuffle. So apply the 10-second test and run that 5-minute audit. Let me leave you with this question. If your current resume was a final project handed in by one of your students, what grade would you actually give it right now? Don't let a disorganized document hide your true potential as an educator. Take these strategies, rewrite your narrative, and go claim the classroom you deserve.